everyone, welcome to this episode of Shift. I'm your host, Palmonia Gordon. Thank you for joining me. Just wanted to remind those who are probably checking out Shift for the first time that Shift, S.H.I.F.T, stands for Simply Helping Individuals Find Their True Passion and Purpose. Today, I wanted to talk to us about traditions, more importantly, something as simple as a stone. And in Shift, we aim to move you a little bit, change the way you think about something, change the way you feel about something, change the way you react to something. We do it by sharing our thoughts, sharing our feelings, sharing our stories, and just by being together as a community, Shift Nation, as I call it. But I wanted to talk to us about stones, #tradition, because we have so many things that we do in our culture. It doesn't have to be an ethnic culture like mine. Whatever background you're from, you have stuff that you do that's culturally a part of the culture, and you have no idea why it's done. Why do we do this? Oh, I don't know. My mom did it. Why did mom? I don't know. My grandma did it. Why did I don't know. And I was recently reading my Bible, because I am a Christian, and there's the story when the children of Israel had gone through the Red Sea, and they were given Moses. God told Joshua to let a man from each tribe go and pick up a stone, because you may not be like me. I delivered mail for 23 years, so I saw different lawns and landscape that most people may not have seen. And I've often wondered, why do we put these big rocks on the front of the lawn? Well, that story answered my question, unknown to me. And even that shows the power of your thought, because once you think something, you have actually released something to go now find you the answer and bring it back. And they were told that a man from each tribe should take a stone, and I figure it was a big stone because it said they had to carry it on their shoulder. You're not going to carry a stone like this on your shoulder. And put it at the front of their house, of their dwelling, that if their children should ask, when their children should ask what the stone represents, that it represents how God was faithful and how he delivered them through the Jordan on dry land. And I'm like, oh, wow. But even before that, I already had a special stone. Actually, I was doing a speech in Toastmaster, I think maybe last year, early this year. And a part of it was talking about myself, which I had forgotten this particular stone. So I just gone outside, pick up a rock and wrote a date on it. And I remember the president, Kurt, he goes, oh, Palmoni, I'm going to copy that one. Because we can use a stone for so much. It's not just a rock. Here on my stone, I have a date, September 15, 2015. And this I wrote during a session at church, where that day the pastor was going through about symbolic and things that have happened in your life that have symbolic reminder. And they had gone out through the entire congregation and given us a stone with a marker or a pen, and we should write a date on it that was symbolic for you, a date when something changed or something shifted in your life. So that's what I would love for each of you on Shift to do. To get a stone, whether in the backyard, whether by the pond, if you go to the dollar store, they sell it in the bag, and just pick one and write a date. Is there a date that you have that's been impacting, a day where something changed about your life, a day where you started to think differently, a day where you started to feel, the day when you fell in love with yourself? This was the day when, in my frustration, I came home and I wrote in my journal, says it was a crappy day at work today. I want to stay home and be a full-time wife and mom. I got up the next morning, Didn't really notice it because I'm rushing to get the kids, and but by the time I got to work, I could not move this hand at all. Couldn't use this hand. Worked all day with my left hand, and the next day, on the way home, I stopped by the doctor, and he said I'd torn my muscle or something. Gave me a slip to take to work. Took to work the next day. That was it. I was able to stay home and be a full time wife and mom. Granted that there's a whole lot of other issues with my foot and my bones and everything. 23 years, 5 kids, a lot happened. But what do you have that has happened? Now, here's what I want you to do with the stone. Don't put it someplace where it gathers dust, or put it in the basement under a pan in the laundry room that you're not. You want to put it someplace where you see it. And when you see it, it's a reminder that you have overcome that you are victorious, that you have gotten past that you are better, that you're becoming more. And you write that, and you keep that. Right? I have several different stones, and I still have that big one that I've used. Um, Put them at a place. I have another jar. I didn't have it with me. I have a little jar, those canning jar like what you use for fruit, and it has water in it. But I was at a women's retreat, and what we had done was taking some dirt. We had a glass of water, and we put some dirt in it. And I'm just talking to us about tradition, because some things we do and we don't know why, we don't understand. So I want to stir you and shift you a little bit to start questioning, why do I have to put the flour in before the butter? Right? Ask the question. But in the jar, when you put the dirt in and then you shake it up, the clear water now became brown. But if you let it sit for a while, it would settle. And it just kind of was representative of who we are as a people, that we get upset and people don't understand us when we're all dirty because they can't see us clearly and we're not making sense. But when we calm down, then they can see you. And even as I spoke now about tradition and the butter, I remember an issue of contention, if you will, between my ex and myself was with doing the dishes. And the tradition is, for me, you wash the glasses first, then you do the plates, then you do the knife and the fork. And to him, it's like, what difference does it make? I can wash the plate and then the fork and then the glass last. And honestly, I didn't know how to answer him correctly. But then a friend of his came over and she explained that because the plate and the fork tend to have grease on it from the food, and if you wash them last, you increase the risk of the residue of that grease now sticking to the glass. Sometimes you may pick up a cup and, oh, this one smells this way or that way, because it wasn't washed first in the clear water to clean it properly, and then you do the dishes. And it's like, oh no, why didn't she say that? I didn't know it then. But it's a part of the tradition. That's how you are taught to wash the dishes. So examine some of the traditions that we have in our life, that you have in your life. Are those traditions costing you? Is it costing you your health? Is it costing you your freedom of mind? Are you at times tempted to just do this? If I was going to say, if you feel like doing it, but then I don't want to hear that I have caused someone to break. Listen to and hear and what may be guiding you. Because to me, in the long run, if you are trapped in your mind because you're not free to express who you are, then you're really not living anyway. And those traditions have become a prison. Those tradition have imprisoned you, and you need to find a way out. So examine the traditions that we have. Create new traditions. If you don't like I have a tradition with my children. Whenever we went to the doctor and after they've had a needle or something like that, we would stop at the pharmacy on the way home and just get a bag of the some popcorn or something that they could munch on the way home. And that was kind of the routine. It doesn't have to be an expensive, extravagant routine, but it's just something that you do together as a family that your children may later on choose to develop something else to say, oh, you know what? Why do you do this? Oh, that just reminds me of my mom because my mom and I used to do that. Oh, okay. Right? So even if the kids may never know their grandparent, but just that connection of their parent doing something that was representative of grandma can create a nice bond, in the family. Give hugs. Give hugs. I know we're a culture that don't believe in hugs, especially the guys, but we have to. I'm sorry, but we're needing that. We are so thirsty for us to break that tradition of not giving hugs and loves and kisses. That's why it's easy for our youth to be drawn away into areas they shouldn't be because they don't feel loved at home. So look at your tradition, shift a little bit, shift a lot a bit if you have to and if it's possible. But like the second hand of the clock, you're going to do 60 tiny moves around the clock, make it to 1 minute, and then you're going to do 1 minute becomes 1 hour, and then 1 hour, you keep going, 24, you become a day, and you keep going. Keep shifting, subscribe, share, like, comment. Check out my page, palmoniagordon.com, and most of all, see you back tomorrow. I love you. Bye.